Hello everyone, my name is Mahdi and I am here with Quranic Truth number 25, Salat series part 5. There is no noon or dhuhr salat on Fridays, or what we call Jum'ah in the Quran. Friday is actually the day of congregation and performing communal salat. All three mandatory or wajib salats are to be performed in congregation or jama'at on Fridays. I went through the specific times of salat in salat part number 4, but I'm going to very quickly overview those concepts because they are very important in terms of being able to understand the Quran. So the first part of Nahar is Fajr. Fajr is when you have light but there is no sun in the sky. The second part of Nahar is dominion of the sun. This is where sun rises and sun is in the sky. It's visible. And that continues up until Duluk Shams or sunset. That is the point when the dominion of the sun in the sky ends and you no longer have the sun in the sky, starting from sunset up until night. And that period is called Isha. In Isha, you have light, but again, there is no sun in the sky. Components of a Quranic Yom. A Quranic Yom includes both Nahar and Layl. Nahar means day and Layl means night. So you have number 1 is Fajr or dawn that we just explained. There is light, but there is no sun yet. Then you have the dominion of sun. That's this yellow part. You have the sunrise. So sun rises up and sun is in the sky up until sunset or Duluk Shams, and then you have Isha or dusk, and that is the time when there is some light but again there is no sun, and after that you have Layl or night, and that's the dominion of Ghasaq. That's Ghasaq al-Layl, it's darkness. So Ghasaq or dominion of darkness. Now let's look at verse number 114 from chapter 11. It says, and stand the salat at the two sides or two ends of the nahar, i.e. day, and at the early hours of the layl. That is a remembrance for those who remember. So number 1 is the first end of nahar or day, and number 2, which is Isha, is the second end of nahar or day, and number 3 is early hours of the night. So you have salat al-fajr here, you have salat al-isha here, and you have early hours of layl here, zulafan min al-layl. So again, pay attention that the verse says lezakirin. It means those who remember. So these 3 times of the salat are mandatory, wajib for all believers. Also, let's look very quickly at verse number 110 from chapter 17. It says, and do not recite either loudly in your salat or quietly, but seek between them an intermediate way. Seek a way between them. وَابْتَغِ بَيْنَ ذَلِكَ سَبِيلًا. Now let's look at verse number 238 from chapter 2. It says, حَافِظُوا عَلَى الصَّلَوَاتِ وَالصَّلَاةِ الْوُسْطَى. It says, maintain with care the salats. The word used here is as-salawat, which is plural. It means 3 or more salats. We did discuss the 3 salats, so the verse, that's why the verse is using the word as-salawat, the plural form of it. And then it says was-salat al-wusta. Al-wusta here is an adjective to as-salah. It doesn't say salat al-isha or salat al-fajr. It says at-salat al-wusta. It means a salat that is neither loud nor quiet. So al-wusta is describing the quality of the salat here. A salat that is neither loud nor quiet. Maintain with care the 3 salats in terms of their timing and structure. Maintain the intermediate salat and obviously stand before Allah obediently during the salat. Now let's look at the Salah on Fridays. Let's look at verse number 9 to 11 of chapter 62. It says, "O you who believed, whenever it is called for the Salat on the day of Jum'ah or Fridays, then hasten towards remembrance of Allah and leave the trading. That is better for you if you only knew." إِذَا نُودِيَ لِلصَّلَاةِ مِنْ يَوْمِ الْجُمْعَةِ. So whenever it is called for the Salah on the day of Jum'ah or on Fridays. So he's talking about all the 3 daily Salats. So whenever it is called for the Salah, it doesn't say any specific time. This is whenever there is a call for Salah on the day of Friday. And then it says, and when the Salat, it means all the 3 daily Salats has been concluded. فَإِذَا قُضِيَتِ الصَّلَاةِ, disperse within the land. فَانْتَشِرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ, and seek from the bounty of Allah, and remember Allah often that you may succeed. But when they see a business or a diversion, they rush to it and leave you standing. Say, what is with Allah is better than the business and than a transaction, and Allah is the best of providers. So as I mentioned, Friday is the day of congregation. The morning Salat at dawn, the evening Salat at dusk, and the night Salat at the early hours of the night are to be performed in congregation on Fridays. There is no mention of any noon Salat in the Quran, be it on Friday or on any other days of the week. So let's look at verse number 9 of chapter 62. It says, فَإِذَا قُضِيَتِ الصَّلَاةِ فَانْتَشِرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ. And when the Salat, it means all the 3 daily Salats have been concluded, disperse within the land and seek from the bounty of Allah. And remember Allah often that you may succeed. As I mentioned, Friday is the day of congregation. The verse tells the believers to disperse as soon as the Salat is over. There is no mention of sitting for pleasantries or sermons after or before the Salat. The verse is very clear. It says, as soon as the Salat is over, disperse within the land. So the purpose of the Salat, as I have mentioned several times, is only and only Allah's remembrance, not political agendas and nothing else. It's just Allah's remembrance. Let's look at verse number 58 of chapter 24. It says, O you who have believed, those whom your right hands possess, and those who have not yet reached puberty among you, must ask permission of you at 3 times before the Salat of the Fajr, i.e. dawn, and when you put aside your clothing at noon. حين تضعون ثيابكم من الظهيرة, when you put aside your clothing at noon, and after the Salat of the Isha or dusk, 3 times of privacy for you. So as evidenced by this verse, there was no trading or business or diversion at noons or al-Zahira at the time of the revelation of the Quran. As you can see, the verse clarifies it for us so we don't make that assumption. Even as of now, in many Middle Eastern countries, for those of you who grew up in there or have traveled there, people actually close shops and go home to rest during noon times or al-Dhahira. We should not lose sight of the context and impose our Western lifestyle to the translation of the Quran. So as I proved to you from the Quran, there is no noon or dhuhr salat on Fridays or the day of Jum'ah in the Quran. Friday is the day of congregation and performing communal salat. All 3 mandatory wajib salats are to be performed in congregation or jama'at on Fridays. I really hope and pray to Allah that you learned something from this Quranic truth. I encourage you, as always, to do Amr bil Ma'ruf wa Nahy anil Munkar by sharing the truth of the Quran. Please do not forget to subscribe for more Quranic truths. And until our next Quranic truth, peace and blessings of Allah be to all of you, and ma'as salam. May Allah keep you all safe.